Welcome to part 2 of the new grounds of the Premier League 2023, and today we're in a town renowned for its beautiful parks and buildings to talk about the league's most old school ground, Kenilworth Road. Sorry Fulham, but you've sold out.
You've made a powerful enemy today, my friend.
It's time to head back to the early 20th century, when Luton's original home at Dunstable Road was sold by a pesky landlord for housing at short notice, leaving Luton without a ground. The club directors quickly found a new site at Kenilworth Road, 200 metres away from their old home and immediately adjacent to the existing London and Dunstable Railway branch, with the first game at the new ground being against Plymouth Argyle in September 1905, with the game ending in a 0-0 draw. With a new ground came a new main stand. However, this would only last for 20 years before the stand was burnt down. The stand would rise from the ashes to be rebuilt in 1922 and is actually still around today and has a unique shape due to the existing railway immediately behind the stand. During the 1930s, the decision was taken to renovate the stadium, including the extending of existing stands and adding roofs, which would ultimately expand the capacity of the ground to 30,000 spectators, 3 times as much as today. The 1930s would also put Luton Town in the history books when in 1936 their centre forward, Joe Payne, would bag himself 10 goals in one game against Bristol Rovers, the most ever scored by a person in one match, a record that is still around today.
Nice.
In 1973, after decades of neglect, the stadium would be modernised with the first addition of seats since the construction of the main stand in 1922, with the bobbler stand becoming all-seated. In 1985, the ground would become an all-seater stadium, which also included the introduction of an artificial playing turf. As you can probably think, the use of an artificial pitch didn't go down well with both players and fans, and by the time it had to be replaced for a second time, just 2 years later, the Football League would instigate a ban on plastic pitches, which meant the club would have to change it back to a natural turf. In 1991, the club would make their latest addition to the ground in the form of a rather obscure looking stand to fully enclose the stadium and is squeezed between the former railway line, which was eventually to be called the David Priest Stand. With the club returning to the promised land of the Premier League, you may not be surprised to hear that the ground was not fully fit to meet all the media requirements that the Premier League expects, and as a result, the club would undertake a £10 million work programme of upgrades to the stadium. However, despite these upgrades, Kenilworth Road's years are numbered, with the club looking to build a new stadium slap bang in the centre of Luton at Power Court, allowing away fans to make a quick exit for the train station when the inevitable happens.
Oh fucking hell. I'm gone. I'm finished. No! No! No!